Hey guys, it's Vu here. Sorry, I haven't made a video in a while, but today we're going to talk about contractors. A good contractor is a blessing. Contractor is someone that you normally interact with, especially as a homeowner, at least once in your lifetime. So a good contractor gets things done on time and under budget. But today we're going to talk about contractors from hell. Now, in 2020, when I first started getting into real estate, I just had purchased a 7 unit property, and two of the tenants had moved out. And so we were looking for someone to fix these 2 units, nothing too major. For the basement unit, just a new laminate flooring, drywall, can lights, and repaint. And for the second floor, some repaint and basic drywall repairs. And so we went to this real estate event, and then there we met this contractor. His name is Matthew. Now, Matthew is a guy in his late 20s, early 30s, and he claimed that he can do most things, and if we hire him, we'll get a good price, and we'll have things done within time and budget. So we're like, okay, yeah, why don't you check out these 2 units that we have? And so Matthew stops by later that week, and he sees the 2 units, and so he gives us a quote, $10,000. Mind you, this is in 2020. Before the crazy inflation prices of 2022, 2023. And so we're like, oh, $10,000. And that was still reasonable back in that time. That seems like a good price. And so we hired him, and he gets started. Now, initially, everything goes pretty well. And he and his teammates, his workers, they work on the basement unit. And they're about 85% done with it. So they installed most of the flooring, repainted, most of the can lights are done. It's just some basic things that just needs to be touched up. So we're like, okay, this is great. But then this is when things started getting weird. Rather than finishing up the basement unit, they started working on the second floor. So we didn't confront him about it. We're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Why don't you just finish up? But we didn't say too much about it because everyone has their own style. So now this is when the red flags started happening. So Matt asked, hey, rather than us commuting every day, why don't you let us be your tenants? I could live here on the second floor, do the remodels, and this way it saves me on my commute. And then I could finish the remodeling as I'm living here, and I could be your tenant. And so we were new, so we said, yeah, sure, that sounds like a great idea. So Matthew lives in the second floor, and he's supposed to be working there as he's living. But he's also doing other projects on the side. And so he asks us, your basement is almost ready. Why don't you rent from one of my workers, Caesar? And I can vouch for him. So this is, Matt has been doing a good job for us so far. And so we really didn't have any reason to say no. So we're like, okay, yeah, if you could vouch for him, let's have Caesar move in. And so that supposedly solves 2 birds with 1 stone. So we have 2 tenants and a contractor that works for us. So this is when things start getting really bad. Caesar has these 2 dogs, and they're big dogs, and they move in with him. And Caesar and Matt work like 8 to 10 hours a day outside of the home, in addition to the projects that he's supposed to be working for us. So they're never home. And eventually we started getting complaints from our tenants upstairs. Hey, the building smells really bad. And so we check up on it, and we realize that they've been leaving their dogs home for all this time. No bathroom breaks, no one to walk these dogs. I don't even know how they feed them. And so eventually got so bad, we confronted them. And we were like, hey, what's going on? Why is the smell? And Caesar's like, oh yeah, sorry, my dogs pooped all on the floor. I'll clean it up. And then we check up on Matt and Caesar's progress on the second floor, and they barely made any progress. In fact, I think the apartment was still the same as it was when Matt started moving in. Matt started complaining about the budget and how $10,000 is not enough. Dude, you are 85% done with the basement before you move to the second floor, and you haven't done any work on the second floor, and now you're complaining about the budget. You're the one that gave us the budget. So we go back and forth with this guy, and then in the meantime, the building is starting to smell worse and worse and worse. And then we, I go to like I get complaints from my property manager and he tells me, oh, these guys, when I visit, they'll do some work, but the moment I leave, they leave to work on other projects. And so I go there myself and I work, and I'm just cleaning the floors for 2 hours to see what they would do. And then they would initially just do a little bit of work, and then they would say, let's get out of here. I need there's projects to make money off of. Like, dude, I'm the one paying you. What do you mean there's other projects that you can make money off of? So, it's starting to get really, really bad. And so we keep confronting Matt and keep saying, oh, I'll be done in next week. I'll be done the following week, blah, blah, blah. I'll be done at the end of the month. End of the month comes, no progress has been made. And so this guy keeps lying and lying and lying. So eventually we've had enough, and we told him he's got to leave, but he doesn't want to leave. And so we just threatened him to damage his reputation, post negative reviews about him, all that stuff. So eventually he decides to leave, and then he leaves all his stuff here, completely destroys our property, and he leaves holes within the walls, as you can see right here. And then his buddy Caesar, that's the difficult one. He's still living in the basement. He's never paid rent, and he's got these 2 dogs that is destroying the whole unit. And so eventually we get him to leave at the end of the month without paying any rent at all. So when we come in, the unit's completely destroyed. So they were 85% done with it, but now the flooring is completely destroyed. Poop all over, pee all over. The walls have to be repainted. All the flooring's discarded because it's completely destroyed. So we get a new contractor in, and he rips everything up, and we're so thankful for him. So the moral of the story is, vet your sources, vet your contractors, and if you have a good contractor, hang on to him and use him, and because he would be a godsend. And don't mix your contractors with your tenants, because if your relationship with your contractor ever goes sour, you do not want to multiply that effect, that issue by 10 by having them be a tenant, especially in Chicago, since tenant law is so against landlords in the city of Chicago and it's so difficult to evict. So all in all, these contractors' tenants from hell caused about $30,000 in damages. And so we had to, in addition to all the repairs that they made, all the materials that they used up, the $10,000 we paid them, we had to rip up everything and throw most things away. So we had to buy new flooring, new drywall, new paint, and redo everything. And they didn't do anything on the second floor. So we had to fix all of that and do all the repairs up there. And our new contractor did all of that within budget. So all in all, $30,000 in damages. Lesson learned: vet your contractors. Thanks, guys.